Let's look at using the map cover overlay to make decisions on which paddocks to drop out for silage. Okay, let's get into it. What we can do is display on the map, click on the map drop down over here and click on overlay. Now from overlay, we can show the cover under this rankings, so cover. So what we have here is a farm map that has pretty colors on it. And what these colors represent is blue are paddocks that are over the pre-grazing pasture cover. So they sit at the very top of the feed wedge. Now, if there are any red paddocks on this farm, they would be sitting below the post-grazing residual, like well below the post-grazing residual. So green paddocks, dark green paddocks, are sitting right in the Goldilocks zone for grazing the paddocks. Light green paddocks are sitting closer towards the middle of the feed wedge. And likewise, dark yellow, let me just check, average cover 1694 for that dark yellow, and a light yellow is 2395. So dark yellow or dark orange is sitting lower on the feed wedge, so opposite to dark green, and the yellow, the brighter orange, is sitting closer to the middle of the feed wedge, meeting the lighter green paddocks. Okay, that's a bit of a mouthful, but you'll get used to it. And one way to check off these paddocks is we can see this blue paddock over here is sitting well above the post-grazing. There are no red paddocks because that's marginally below the post-grazing at 1598. I think it's 1700 on this farm is the post-grazing. So the paddock would have to be down around 1400 for the paddock to show red on the map. Now, when we're looking at these paddocks, what we can do is if we scroll forwards in time and grow the feed wedge out, we can see that cows are grazing these paddocks down. So over time, the paddocks go orange, they go green and then orange. So let's move the herd. This paddock over here where the herd is currently grazing, we'll see that paddock, when I move forwards in time, will go orange. And we'll see the same with this paddock here. So the cows the herd has just landed here for grazing. Now if we go forwards in time, it's now gone orange. Now we can see as we go forwards in time, we're getting more paddocks that are jumping over the pre-grazing cover or starting to jump well over, like this paddock is. Now we can use this as a quick guide to make grazing decisions. So we know that this back half of the farm is starting to grow some nice juicy paddocks ready for grazing. If I just filter all these reports by the milking herd, we can see that these paddocks over here are growing quite lush, ready for grazing. So, and there are currently no paddocks that are fit for silage. If we just keep moving the date forward, just pretending that there aren't any grazings happening, we can see that the feed wedge grows up. We see that the colours become darker, and these lighter colours are indicating paddocks that have just crossed over the pre-grazing cover. And if we move the date forwards further, we can see that the paddocks are becoming blue. So as we reach spring and push into spring, when pasture growth rates really start to excel, then we will notice that more paddocks become blue. So if this is the case, we can click these paddocks by holding Shift on your computer. You can select multiple paddocks, and then we can set a harvest. So we can set a harvest into the future. Now what this will do, it is a harvest in the future will put a yellow border around these paddocks, and you'll see a yellow border on the feed wedge, which helps indicate to you that those paddocks have been locked up or put aside ready for harvesting. So that could be harvesting for silage or whatever you do on your farm. Now this is really good because it helps you read the feed wedge and read the map and understand what you have up your sleeve to maintain your feed wedge as you move deeper into spring, into the growth rate periods.